Hey guys, it's Lewis. I just wanted to throw in something real quick before this episode. We had some technical problems regarding the sound. Mostly it was just in the first 5 minutes of the episode. So fixed a lot of it through editing, but you're going to hear some weirdness with Mike's audio for like about 3 or 4 minutes in the beginning. It is fixed after that. The rest of the episode is fine. I hope you enjoy it. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up, so hope you stick around. But yeah, here's the episode.
Are you the boss of the mall?
I'm the mall manager, yes.
Well, my name's Taco, and I would like to apply for the position of Mall Krampus.
Mall Krampus? What is that?
Krampus! He's the holiday devil. He threatens bad children by putting them in a sack and eating them.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like anything we want here at the mall. We try to encourage people to bring their children here and not be afraid of, abductions or murdering or anything.
Get it? You're a smart man. You're not going to hire me without auditioning me. Look, just picture me in the big suit. Oh, watch this. Krampus comes and you should worry. Fa la 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 la. Deck your child with fists
He
of
doesn't
fury.
work here.
Fa la 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 la
Security!
la.
Jesse! Get this. Go up and come down.
Welcome to Random Movie Roulette.
To our very belated Christmas holiday themed episode.
Yeah.
What? Well, it was snowing outside very hard, so
Yeah, just in time for a New York snowstorm.
It was very appropriate watching it this week. It all kind of worked out. I think we caused the weather, though. That was our bad. Welcome to our Krampus episode. We're back to the list, like we said last week. We're plugging in hard. We're getting the job done. We have our own Krampus toys here joining us today. Our Furbies.
Those are scarier than like the creepy Krampus puppet dolls that come in and attack them at the end of the movie.
Then like the teddy bear and the yeah.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
What's for dinner?
Remember that your Aunt Sarah likes everything to be clean and perfect.
I just thought you guys might like a break from macaroni and cheese with hot dogs.
You were wrong.
Who wants creme brulee?
I just wanted Christmas to be like it used to be, but forget it. I hate Christmas! I hate all of you!
It's the weirdest thing. There's no cars, no people, not even a salt truck.
Hello?
The shadow of St. Nicholas. A much darker, more ancient spirit. It was Krampus.
Yeah, like I feel like that clip that we watched of The League, like that was years before this movie came out. I feel like there was like this growing pop cultural zeitgeist around like the Krampus as an entity, and I was really hoping that you would have played the clip later on in that episode where Taco dresses up in the his it's not dressed as Krampus, it's like his mascot character from the show, and he just runs through the mall and he's like, Krampus is here and he's coming to attack you, like.
Yes, I see it pop up in pop culture like that all the time. This is like the most serious I've seen the thing taken. Like, I know there's the American Dad episode. I think that's probably where I first became aware of it. And then once this came out, though, like it was the first thing that was. I mean, it is a horror comedy, but it is the first like movie with a budget to be like the Krampus horror movie. And
Very low budget though. It was like 15 million only.
Yeah, but it's still.
Like
I just mean like it's a studio release. It is pretty low budget. That's how Doherty tries to work.
No, yeah, and I
But,
definitely see like he has like this affinity for like creature features and stuff, and that's like clearly what led to the next movie he makes is Godzilla King of the Monsters. And you can see that natural evolution from like Trick or Treat to this to Godzilla. And again, working in a holiday-themed horror setting.
He really gets, like, holiday movies. Like, he nails that feel all the time. Like, you don't see it with Godzilla. But both Trick or Treat and Krampus, like, they both feel like these, like, very, like, kind of, like, warm holiday movies in their own way.
Yeah, I feel like with this movie, I feel like the first half hour is kind of played as a pretty straightforward, like, family Christmas comedy. Like, it feels like a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where it's like, the wacky family who we don't get along with is coming over, and then, like, stuff like that.
Plot of Christmas Vacation, but...
Yeah, or Deck the Halls. Like, it's just people not getting along during Christmas time. And which is, like, there's enough of a movie there. Like, David Koechner is, like... interesting enough to watch on screen, and so is Adam Scott, and obviously Toni Collette is a fucking genius, and the kids are fucking fine, I guess.
I cannot buy that Adam Scott and Toni Collette are married, though. Like, what was she, his college English teacher?
I don't think they make eye contact once in this movie. They have negative chemistry.
You know what's
seems
weird?
More like he's like a nephew or something.
Yeah, you know what's weird about their relationship in the movie is that,
also,
like,
his mom was, like, a kid in World War II.
What? Oh, yeah. Yes. That's really
and then
weird.
She had him, like, what did Krampus gift her with, like, eternal fertility or something?
But speaking of that, I did love that sequence a lot. The
animated segment is, like, by far, hands down, the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's this weird, like, kind of stop-motion CG hybrid where the grandmother tells the story of, like, when she encountered Krampus. It reminds me of the scene in Deathly Hallows 1, like that animated short film segment in the middle where they tell, like, the story of, like, the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, but it's better than that.
I would say I do wish that this movie was a period piece, either in 1940 or the 1980s. I think it would just fit better either way. Maybe I also just want to see Krampus torture Nazis on Christmas, but...
It definitely feels like an 80s movie, and it feels like it would have been more at home if they had just set it in the 80s, and also that age gap wouldn't be so odd.
It would be such a run-of-the-mill, like, studio horror sequel if the next, like, Krampus 2... Krampus was the main character, and he was hunting down Nazis, and, like, he's the sympathetic character, like, you're rooting for him the whole time, instead of the stupid fucking family and these whiny goddamn kids. Yeah. I fucking hate the kids in this movie. I wanted them dead in the first act.
See, I didn't mind Adam Scott and Toni Collette's kids. Like, I thought they were fine. Like, but the whole Koechner family can die in a fire. Yeah. Like, they were... Yeah. Like, I think that the movie at least did a good job at getting me to hate them, because I could see why they don't like this family. They're annoying and obnoxious and mean. But, like, by the end of the movie, when it's like, oh, they're working together and they're redeeming themselves, I'm like, no, they haven't. They're still fucking asshole. And especially, like, the part where it's like, oh, good thing he done brought his big shotguns, because this little nanny sissy boy don't like guns. And it's like...
Yeah, and, like, Adam Scott's, like, whole arc in this movie of just being like, I was an Eagle Scout, to, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you with my shotgun. Like, I'm Bruce Willis in a movie this time. Like, it's very, very flimsy. Like, there's a lot of fun shit in this movie. The story never comes together, like, in any meaningful way.
And there are severe, like, tonal shifts. Because, like I said, like, the first half hour is, like, kind of a straightforward family Christmas comedy. And then, like, by the end, like, the last half, it's, like... it goes so dark with, like, where it takes, like, the premise and, like, a lot of stuff. I'm like, this was really almost... These feel like way two completely different movies. And then there's, like, the animated segment in the middle. I'm like, it's constantly switching, like, tones and genres. And not in, like, a way that I feel like it perfectly balances any of them. It just kind of feels like it's three separate movies.
Yeah, I think without a strong, like, plot...
Yeah.
It kind of looks more like an identity crisis than a stylistic choice.
Yeah, the only real narrative is the good old German tradition of scare people stupid until they just submit and be good.
Yeah, we got some activity in the chat here. Let's see. Mark H said, I'm sorry, did Lewis just reference the Danny DeVito film Deck the Halls? Yes, I did. That actually, I went to high school with the kid in that movie. And then, fun story, 5 years ago, I went to go see the Decemberists in Brooklyn, and he ripped my ticket stub for, yeah.
Wow.
It was really bizarre. Also, when I went to the Hamptons Film Festival and I went to the talk with Damien Chazelle, he was sitting like right behind me. I know him vaguely, Dylan Blue. Nice kid. Actually, like...
Nice kid ripped up your fucking concert
No,
tickets.
he didn't rip it up, fucker. He was taking tickets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was, like, accepting the tickets.
Yes. He wasn't, like... He didn't, like fucking come up to me with, like, a leather jacket and, like,
now
shake
you don't
me
get
down.
to see the fucking Decemberists.
Oh, okay. You painted a really negative... I'm glad I clarified that, because you would have sent a really negative picture of this poor boy, but...
Yes. He's a lovely kid. This is not an effort to talk shit about Dylan Blue. He's a nice kid. Let's see, who else we got here? Jordan points out that he does not go to see Krampus for the story, which is totally fair. I didn't go into this expecting, like, deep story, but, like, from Trick or Treat, I know that Doherty is capable of delivering at least, like, a tight story.
You know what? It would have worked better is if it was like Trick or Treat, where it was like an anthology, where it's like we follow separate families as Krampus goes and terrorizes them. Because we see in this movie that this whole block has been shut down, like all the power is out, and yet we're still focused on this like one family. And I feel like if you're going to do that, then yes, the story with this family does need to be stronger in order for us to... Because the movie does want us to care about not just the Adam Scott family, but it wants us to care about the Keckner family also, which is like an impossible Herculean task.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they're really just there to be better fodder than the Adam Scott family, who's just too innocent. But I think also I just don't like actual Krampus, and one, how little we get him, and two, how bad he looks.
I love the look of Krampus.
His mouth is always open. Why is his mouth always open?
He looks like a petrified dead body. I don't know. It works for me. Like I think his features like kind of make sense why he's so stiff. I think his movements for the most part, like he only really moves like the lower half of his body because he's just got these like crazy goat legs. I don't know. It worked for me.
I want more creepy goat man vibes.
I don't want like more
That's
CG. I like the practical. There's it's so interesting if you look at the toys, like the Jack in the Box and the Angel and everything that like when they get demonic, and then you look at the fucking Gingerbread Man, which are all CG. Like those look like shit, like terrible. But those toys look fucking awesome, and like that Angel is genuinely fucking scary.
Yeah, I don't mind practical. I'm just saying I wish there was a different design.
Fair enough. But like they like make money off this design. Like I've seen this in Spirit Halloween, like full size this specific Krampus dolls. Like there's Krampus branded shit that's being released still in the year 2020, the year of our Lord.
It's not 2020 anymore.
I know, but the last time I
New
saw
year,
it
new
was
day. Come on.
2020.
All right. No, but
I do appreciate that Krampus's whole motivation also is basically the same as Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 1984, where it's just be thankful for the shitty life you have.
Yeah, no, the end of the movie when the kid, like, he pulled a Wonder Woman 1984, he's like, I renounce my wish.
Oh God.
Which I was like, I was seriously about to be like, if that is what makes Krampus stop, I'm going to throw this movie into the fucking fire.
Well, let's talk about what does make him stop, and if he fucking stops, because that ending is so, I think, like, it really, like, just does not sit well with me at all. I just don't like it. I think it's a bad ending to a movie. That they're in a snow globe.
So what's your interpretation of the ending? Because what I heard that what it says on the Wikipedia page and what I've read other places, and I think with an interview with the director, is that they're not trapped in the snow globe, but it's just his way of watching them. And that's why it's like playing. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good, blah, blah.
Yes,
so it totally comes off like they're trapped in a fucking snow globe.
I mean, especially because like when the kid wakes up in this like idealist,
supposed to be that.
Yeah, but it's also because, like, when the kid wakes up in this, like, idyllic, like, family, like, there's that, like, glowing haze, and it, like, everything seems kind of off. It almost makes it seem like this is a fantasy setup that he's trapped them in, which is, like, it doesn't feel like this is just, like, everything's gone back to normal, and he's just looking at... Which also, I feel like if that is the ending, like, if that's the real interpretation where it's like, oh, he let them go, and he gave him a second chance, and he's, like, he's still watching you, it's like, that really just kind of, like... guts the teeth out of the movie. Like, it really...
Well, the movie doesn't have a lot of teeth. There's no
movie,
consequences.
Yeah, especially because, like, you mentioned that, like, the Keckner family is, like, made for fodder. I'm like, nobody really dies in the movie. Like, and especially because it's, like...
the worst things happen to them.
Yeah, but especially because, like...
Big sister, it's off-screen, and the parents in the regular family just poof disappear.
Yeah, which I'm saying, like, if I wanted them to be, like, you know, entertaining fodder, like... They really do set them up to be, like, so unlikable that you're like, I want to see them die in fun, creative way. Like, that Aunt Dorothy is literally the worst human being. Of, like, every scene, like, even in scenes where it's, like, let's take things seriously, she has to say something stupid and, like, mean and unnecessarily. Or it's, like, I get if that, like... If there was some sort of payoff where it's, like, we get to, like, revel in her dying in a glorious fashion or whatever... But it's like, it doesn't even do that, and it gives her, like, a heroic moment where, like, she shoots the angel thing with the shotgun.
I mean, all of the deaths are treated very cartoonishly. Like literally, like, to the point where they have, like, wacky sound effects playing.
Yeah,
when, like,
this is very much kind of, like, more Gremlins than it is Black Christmas.
I feel like I've seen a lot of Gremlins comparisons, and I feel like even Gremlins, like... Even though I don't feel like we're supposed to be, like, terrified of the Gremlins, but it's like, I feel like that movie does balance the tone of, like, they're creepy monsters and they're, like, you know, terrorizing the town, but they're doing it in, like, a cartoony way.
If you're not terrified of the Gremlins, then there's a problem with you.
No, I feel like if you're an adult watching it for the first time, you might not be. But
yeah,
it's like,
you might not be sleeping that night.
Yeah,
is what you meant to say.
I feel like for kids, like, I feel like, yeah, Gremlins would be a scary movie for kids, and I think it balances that line of, like, being scary, but they're also, like, cartoonish enough that they're not, like, super violent or threatening to. But, like, I feel like also with this movie, I feel like they definitely felt like they wanted to be more violent with it, but they were, like, kind of restricted with the PG-13 rating.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can see that. I can see, like, probably, like, there wouldn't be as, like, large scale of distribution if this was a rated R horror film. Like, this would have been released, you know, indie.
Yeah, I mean, but even with as cheap as like cheap as the budget was, I feel like I don't know if an R rating would have cut out their losses.
I think it would have, because I think this was aimed more towards, like, teen audiences.
Yeah, because I definitely feel like this idea.
I think their idea was also that, like, oh, like, Krampus has been such a viral internet thing, and who's on the internet most? It's teens and kids and things like that, and so they'll be drawn in by Krampus.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, 30 and up year olds might be like, what the fuck is Krampus? And
I think that's, like, when I was in high school, like, this is totally the kind of things I would have gone to see with my friends. Like, this is, like, a PG-13 horror movie that, like, I don't have to worry about, like, how I'm getting in or sneaking in or whatever. That's a great move. And like around Christmas time where you can't hang out outside and do drugs out there, you know, have to huddle indoors. This, like, I can see this being a big draw towards the younger crowd, and I can see why Universal would be willing to distribute something like that. I think if this was, like, a hard, like, R with this same tone, it would be like, I don't think they would have seen it as, like, a financially viable move to release it. But then again, I always just assume the worst out of larger studios, so I'm a little biased.
I remember when this came out, I was kind of very excited, I think, because I was like, oh my god, a Christmas-themed horror movie. And I'm like, years later, now having seen Christmas Evil, Black Christmas, and, like, even Gremlins, I'm like, okay, this movie's actually just, we can let it go.
Yeah, and I do want to say we've been kind of spreading our cheeks and dumping on this fucking movie. I
don't know if we're dumping on it. I feel like we're giving healthy criticism, and we're acknowledging good things. Because I feel like this isn't like a horrible movie.
No, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I don't think it's really great or anything like that. No. I think it's, like, very just average. Like, it's a very fine, okay at what it attempts to do movie, but it's one that, like, I don't really care about that much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's not something that, like, every year, like, I'll probably now watch Anna and the Apocalypse every year around Christmas time.
I feel like Anna and the Apocalypse is a really really fun Christmas horror.
Or Better Watch Out, which I fucking love that movie, and not enough people checked it out. That's on Shudder, by the way. And you know what? This would totally be a Shudder movie if it came out this year. You know what I mean? Like, this would be, like, a total throw on Shudder kind of deal. I mean,
it looks like a Shudder movie.
Yeah, there's there's like not many there's a limited cast, and because we don't see any like the most we see, and like we kind of skipped the very beginning of the movie, but I really did want to talk about like how like the opening scene like sets up. First off, I'm a sucker for like logo variants. Like I really do like when like the logo's tailored to the type of movie that is. So it's like the snowy, icy, Universal and Legendary logos, and I appreciate that. And then like the opening scene is like this montage of like the true horror and misery of Christmas, which is retail workers getting trampled by doorbuster sales hunters, and then this one shot of like this cashier with like a Santa hat and like the most dejected look on his face. I was like, that is Christmas working at a retail store, like captured on film.
Complete misery. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank God in-person retail is dead.
Although I gotta say the worst that I ever
had... it's worse actually now. Like you'd think it's dead. No, like it still exists. And
except
it's worse
now
than
you risk your life going to it. Which is super fun for everyone. I was gonna say the worst I actually had to deal as far as holiday shifts at retail was Valentine's Day when I worked at a chocolate shop.
Oh boy.
The amount of men cheating on their wives that are coming in just like buying and like bragging about it to me. Like I give a shit. Being like, like this is for my lady, this is for my side piece, this is for my wife, and I'm like, oh my god, like you're a garbage human being. What the fuck are you doing?
No, dude, you would think that like Christmas is the heart. Dude, I remember working at iPick on Valentine's Day, and like they show horny romance movies come out on Valentine's Day, and the theaters are filled, and everybody's ordering like everything, drinks and food.
And I'm sure you have to go in there later and mop up all the cum, like because they are fucking leaking all over that place. I bet like people. Have you ever like cleaned the actual seats, like the auditorium in the theater?
I mean, listen. I mean, I've never found cum, thank God, but like the amounts of like weeks-old, dried-up ketchup and mustard like stains to the chairs, and then like there's times the things that I find the most disgusting. It's like it's like movie tickets for movies that came out like 6 months ago. I just find them in the theater. I'm like. What? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? That movie came out 5 months ago. What's that still doing here? Like,
I remember in the year the year 2014 picking up a ticket stub from Bruno, and I was beside myself. I was working at a Panera. I bent over, and there was a ticket stub, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And it's Bruno. And I was like, did this like fall out of time just now?
You know what else is
it's like a Donnie Darko thing. Just like pops out.
You know what else is like kind of uncharacteristically disgusting is like you ever like ride through the subway and then like in the subways like the movie billboard ads are for movies that came out like a year ago. You're like ew, this is so old. Like, what is this still doing here?
This is like dystopian future. Like this is
especially now because
you ride on the subway and still see like a poster for Mortal Engines, and I'm like, why?
Dude, the amount of sun bleached Sonic the Hedgehog posters I have seen.
Yeah, dude, especially nowadays, like driving, like you drive through the subway and then like you see like old ads for like 1917. Oh my god!
Like who even remembers that fucking movie? Who?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
All right, let's get back on track here with Krampus. I like the cast of adults in this movie a lot. I do not like the children. I think they're all garbage.
I think that Adam Scott's kids are okay.
Good kid.
Yeah.
I think his daughter's fine. I do not like any of the other kids. I think that main kid is just the worst.
I don't think he's the worst. I think his line deliveries are a little bit wooden. Like he's a little stiff.
Yeah.
He's not hard. Like I think that I think Keckner's kids are really they're really bad.
Well, I mean, I also sympathize with them. Is that like they're not like written well. Like they're not given any depth. Keckner's kids. That's probably not on them. I think that the main boy I find just to be kind of irritating, which I don't like kids. Like that's on me. I've avoided them. I protect myself and others from my spawn at any opportunity. It wouldn't be good. it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be a good situation for planet
But
Earth.
at least here he learns his lesson to not have expectations.
Yeah. What the fuck did he learn in this? He's like, no, my family's garbage. Everyone hates each other, and that's fine. Because if we're all dying, we'll come to like each other. Like, what is he supposed to take away from the dream that he
A
had?
near-death experience is the only way you can truly appreciate life.
Yes. Chat, if you guys are still tuned in for this, let us know what the moral of this movie was. I would love to get your take on it. Also, hi, Manny Movies 98. Welcome. I don't think we've seen you in the chat before, but it's good to have you. Yeah. All right. Do we have more?
If you want to talk
thoughts?
about what the moral is, I think that it's like, because I feel like there is this thing where it's like, because the kid, as like when he was younger, it's like he's like, I want Christmas to go back to the way it was, because when you're a kid and you're like, you know, your family gets along and stuff, and you don't have to like listen to them yell about guns or the Democrats, and you're like, oh, but now it's like nowadays where it's like, oh god, I wish that like I didn't have to deal with this, and I'm like, I've certainly felt that about my family and stuff.
At the same time, it's, you know, how many families really get along, especially if they're like out of town people? Like usually it's like they put on a show for the kids when they're really little, and then.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was able to kind of relate to it. I was able to attach to that. I think that there was a good base of a story there. It doesn't develop well over the course of the movie, which is kind of a bummer. Like I think that dynamic is interesting, and they could have gone somewhere with it. But it's way too silly of a movie to ever like give character time to develop. Which is kind of a bummer. But what happens in the meantime is very fucking fun.
I'm surprised we haven't brought her up yet. I think that the grandma is probably the best character in the movie.
She's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not even just because she has like that emotional animated backstory segment, but I also do feel like whenever she enters a scene, it's like, all right, a sense of normalcy, like a sense of like a warm blanket it was there to tell you that it's okay or something like that. Which is like, for a movie like this with such like mean, despicable characters, she's like one, like the little bright spot. And I feel like that's how the kid sees her also. Like
even though she got her whole family slaughtered, but that's whatever.
But maybe
Jordan,
that was undone too. Maybe she was just helping Krampus get the lesson across.
Jordan in the chat, he piped in with his moral of Krampus, which he says, you want to resent a family Christmas? Have a fucking horrendous one every year with the same awful people. That is the hell he deserves. Krampus or no Krampus. Yeah, absolutely. That this movie seems to really not like the kid either.
Yeah, I mean, even though
the moral, let me just say, the moral of Krampus is to wait until 20 minutes after eating before you go swimming, or else you get Krampus.
Cramps! I got butt cramps and now it's dark!
Oh my god, that was loud. I am genuinely disturbed by that. Oof. Cody in the chat also pointed out that we did a poll today over on our Twitter at RM Roulette, and he suggested that we talk about the results, and let's see that. Mike, you raised the question today.
I did. Oh yeah, the question was about what is like your favorite holiday themed horror movie? Was that?
Yep.
And the results.
The tweet read, "With the boys revisiting the holiday spirit tonight with Krampus, we want to know what your favorite holiday horror movie is." The options were My Bloody Valentine, Trick or Treat, Thanksgiving, and Midsummer. There were only 5 votes, and we need you people participating. So if you are listening right now, make sure you are following us on Twitter at RM Roulette. Join in the conversation with us. And if you're not watching live and interacting with us, you absolutely should be on twitch.tv/RMRoulette. Follow, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. Okay.
Yeah, what won the poll?
Well, with 40% of the vote, it went to Trick or Treat. Not surprising. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I voted for that.
Is Midsummer? I feel like Midsummer. What holiday is Midsummer?
Midsummer is the holiday.
I guess.
Midsummer is the holiday.
I wouldn't.
It's a holiday called Midsummer. Yeah. Right? Unless I'm severely misunderstanding this.
I don't. Is it a real holiday in real life?
Not for us. Like, we don't fucking celebrate.
No, yeah, but that's weird that
people...
we have like a Valentine's Day, Halloween, Christmas, and then made up holiday for the movie.
It's not made up for the movie. It's a real holiday.
You just said it wasn't real.
No, motherfucker! I just said we don't celebrate it here. Midsummer is a thing.
Okay, fine, whatever. I'm mistaken.
People don't actually kill people during Midsummer in these days. That's the thing. It's made up. What they're doing in modern day is made up. I would have picked My Bloody Valentine, but that's just me and my...
Come listen to two men explain to one dummy how fucking Midsummer works.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Which is the movie out of those listings, that's the movie I definitely would have picked. It's definitely like the best made overall movie out of that whole bunch.
I mean,
but
yes.
I think if you were gonna ask me like what my personal favorite, I mean, like I'm not sure exactly, but like the WNUF Halloween special has really kind of shot up as being like probably...
It's fucking great. Yeah. If you guys have not watched that, I can't recommend it enough. It's like one of those things like you just...
It is like the most perfect cinematic distillation of like a holiday feeling. Like the way that it captures just like the holiday on film, and then like through this like nostalgic like VHS quality lens is like something that I didn't think that like a movie could do.
Yeah, I was really blown away with it, to the point where I got halfway through it the first time watching. I stopped watching because like I want to watch this with Jack and Mike, like because I was like other people.
And then we watched it at your bachelor party.
We did, yeah. Dismember the Bachelor
was
for the first annual Dismember the Bachelor. You're fucking stuck forever now. Joke's on you. You have to watch any garbage 5 movies I put together. You idiots, every year.
Well, I know that we're gonna have to watch some garbage movie for your host pick, which is not this week, but it will be next week.
I am gonna 9/11 you guys as far as host picks go. It's terrible what I'm gonna do to you. But we'll hear what Mike's host pick is gonna be
a little later. Not now.
Not now. Jesus, no.
We'll hype you up a little bit.
Yes. So thank you everyone who participated in the poll. Everyone else got 1 vote. 2 votes went to Trick or Treat. Everything else got 1 vote, in case that wasn't clear. I do think we should talk about what's going on rmroulette.com.
Yeah, we just recently put up our monthly recommendation post where the 3 of us and Cody all put a little blurb of something that we would like to recommend to the listeners and the readers. And so, who wants to start off?
Yeah, I'll start off. So yeah, I think we want to discuss it too. We all seemed pretty. We all wrote like pretty extensive passages, which we don't normally do. Like I think we all like hit on something kind of particular this month. So I'm glad that we're taking the time to discuss it here.
I was surprised that I wrote the least amount about all of this, which is normally not how it goes.
I'm usually like a 5-sentence, like this is cool, check it out, kind of guy.
Yeah.
So, mine was Persona 5 Royal. You guys have heard me talk about it before. Persona 5 Royal is a super embarrassing weeb thing to be into, just like Digimon. But you can read the article, which you should, and you should check out all the articles on rmroulette.com, because Cody's doing a great job over there. But yeah, I wrote mainly about just how timely my fascination with this game was. I got into Persona like at the beginning of quarantine, like right when like the first fatigue started hitting in, like when you hit like the 1 month point, and like Animal Crossing's kind of like died down, and it's not bringing you like the same joy it was.
And you're just realizing that you're wasting your life.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but when you said the first wave of fatigue, I was like, oh yeah, like the first week.
Yeah, okay.
I went back through like my Twitter of like stuff I put. 1 week into the pandemic, I posted like a room gif, and I'm like, wow, only 1 week, I was not handling it well. I was so short-sighted.
I just realized like how like I'm always like pride myself like I could do anything by myself. I love being alone, and like now I was like I don't like being alone. I miss seeing other people.
I hate being alone with my thoughts.
Yeah,
they're scary to me.
That's it. It's that like it's having to think more, which is terrible. Who likes that shit? But yeah, so I was like hitting fatigue. Atlas finally like got their shit together and released Persona 4 Golden on Steam, and I played through that game. I was like, oh, like this is very fun, and it kind of kept me distracted for a while, and then I decided to jump into Persona 5 Royal, which had just come out the month before, and wow, I got really, really into this. I sunk about 120 hours into that game. I played it back to back, like I played it twice, one right after the other. I got the Platinum Trophy on PlayStation. It gave me like the sense of structure that I was missing. Like my day-to-day life, like the whole game works on a calendar system, so like you are responsible for how your character spends his time every day, and like you make plans for days, and like I felt like I had like a group of friends, and I had like some sort of goal, like a concrete like thing to work towards, and it was so long and drawn out. It really kept me kind of occupied and focused and like not super depressed. Yeah. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It goes on sale a lot. It's sadly only on PlayStation. It doesn't release on anything else. If you have a computer though, Persona 4 Golden is fucking fantastic. It's a little bit older of a feel, but it's a great story, like really cool characters, and some like bizarre like Lynch kind of shit that you don't always expect from anime. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. And fuck everyone you can. You can fuck so many people in that game, and you gotta fuck all of them. I got to fuck my teacher in Persona 5 Royal. It was great. It was so cool. Yeah. See, how many games that you fuck a teacher?
So you know what?
Not a lot.
I feel like for me, that type of like, where I have a daily structure, I do these things, I felt like because that's what Animal Crossing was kind of trying to be for a while, and then I got to the point where like I'm 2 months in, and I had that realization. I'm like, I'm sitting here buying fake turnips to get fake money to buy fake things for my fake house with my fake friends, and it really just realized I'm like, what is my real life? And I feel like if I was in a game where I could fuck people, and I'm like, I'm focusing on making my fake character fuck people, meanwhile I'm sitting here sad and alone.
Yeah, I'm married. It's not as sad. They all mean nothing to me. I cheat on them exclusively. When you fuck people, like you fight better. Like, how cool is that? Like fucking people, like, helps you in battle. You get, like, basically Pokemon, except some of them are, like, giant penis monsters, and you get to, like, fuck people into making your monster stronger. That's amazing. That's a beautiful thing, and I don't think we celebrate that enough in our society.
So it really does put the pokey in Pokemon.
Yes, Jack, what did you write about?
Yeah, so my thing I wrote about is something that it seems like no one has ever heard of. It's this show called Better Call Saul. Total indie thing. I don't ever get the traction it truly deserves. And I, of course, say that in jest, but also I feel like I'm kind of serious about it at this point. Just because I think I was, with this show, feeling in a way that I think most audiences right now would feel about it, which is, yeah, I really liked Breaking Bad, but I watched Breaking Bad when it was all out and I could just do it at once, and I'll wait till Better Call Saul to just do it that way. And, you know, maybe I'll come to regret that once season 6 is on and I have to wait week to week. But I think I definitely got more invested again in the Breaking Bad world. And honestly, I think Better Call Saul just has a better cast of characters than Breaking Bad does. It has basically every good character from Breaking Bad, and then some great new ones too. You know, I think ultimately you don't have to deal with the freaking stupid ass white family, Hank and Marie, or, you know, just everyone who was like, spends 4 seasons so oblivious to Walt and just degrading him and being assholes, undeserving of all this shit he's trying to do for them.
Dude, Walt was such a fucking cuck.
He was. That was the whole thing. And then at the end, he got a machine gun and became the most wanted fugitive in the country. It's literally like the most pathetic man became the greatest little meth-dealing incel you could ever imagine. But yeah, no, I mean, Bob Odenkirk is a great comedian. He is, you know, full throttle, pulls some amazing shenanigans as Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman. Kim Wexler, who's played by Rhea Seehorn, who, you know, everyone talks about as the breakout character of this show, truly is. She is everything Skylar never was, but also just like,
I will have no Skylar slander on this podcast.
Even as a love interest, she succeeds.
Are you a Skylar apologist?
Let me just say, I don't mind Skylar and Marie at all, but I'm just saying Kim is a much better character because she does interesting things and doesn't cheat on her husband and
here I will say
smart and catches on to things.
No, this is what I'll say about Skylar. She is a flawed human being. She does bad things as a character, but she is not a badly written character. And I feel like that's kind of how the fan base, this very masculine macho fan base, has treated her. Like, Skylar's such a bitch. I fucking hate her. Like,
I don't think she's a badly written character. I think she's annoying, and she serves her purpose, which is to be annoying. But like, she's a well-developed and realized character, absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that, the difference with Kim is that she is on Jimmy's level and she is able to get amoral when she needs to get amoral. And just, you just like seeing people make the bad decisions and get away with it and do some naughty things in this show even more. There's also a much heavier focus on Mike, who was a character who I always felt was kind of underserved in Breaking Bad. And so I definitely enjoyed that. And so, yeah, I think it's just a good show, and I think people shouldn't get worried about hopping on it. And
I watched it up until I was watching it like when it first started, and then I watched up until like maybe season 2, and then I kind of forgot about it afterwards because I was like, this is a good show, like, but there is always, I feel like with this and with the El Camino Breaking Bad movie that recently came out, I feel like I do like enjoy revisiting these characters in this world, but I do feel like there is kind of, I feel like that Breaking Bad is Walter White, and like trying to expand beyond that, I'm like that thing is always going to be missing a little bit, and that's not a thing I'm always going to be able to like.
I thought it was going to be that, but I've got to say Better Call Saul is very much its own thing, and I'm more interested in like the law stuff that happens in it than the
because that's the thing I felt at this point. I'm like, it's like now this is kind of just like a lawyer show.
Yeah,
and
which
I'm like,
doesn't do shit for me. Like
I'm like, I like Bob Odenkirk and I like the Saul character, so it's like I would watch it just on the strength of
clip.
Yeah, I would watch it on like the strength of that alone. But it's also like I don't feel like in the 2 seasons that I've watched, like I don't think it's gotten like better than Breaking Bad status that I feel like a lot of people have given it.
Season 3 is absolutely when it hits its stride, but I would say just getting past season 1 is the big. Not that season 1's bad, but season 1 is when
season 1 has a lot of reliance on like, you remember this character, right?
Right, because you need to have Mike and Saul essentially get to the point where it's like, okay, let's start doing shady shit, and because we realize that's gonna
let's Breaking Bad.
I'm going to become Breaking Bad.
There's a good Family Guy joke, I'll just say before we move on, where it's just like, boy, I can't wait to watch this just like I watched Breaking Bad, and it's some guy sitting down on his TV and he's like, Breaking Bad, what's this? He hits play and it's like a hypnotic swirl comes on and it's like, you will watch Breaking Bad. You will tell everyone they should watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's about
the greatest show of all time.
even me, like I remember before getting into Breaking Bad, like I would hear people talk about it like that, and I'm like, God, I fucking can't stand people who like Breaking Bad. And then I ended up watching it, and I ended up becoming that person, and I hate myself for it.
Because that's the thing. It's that show that you hear about, just like Better Call Saul. It's that show you hear about, and you're just like, oh God, this thing, yeah, we get it. And then you watch it, and it's like, okay, yeah, Vince Gilligan's really good at what he does.
Yeah, I mean, no, I certainly don't doubt he's talented. I also watched the first season. I thought it was very good, actually. Like, I was pretty into it. But by the time the second season came around, like, I was just, like, distracted. And then I was like, oh, I'm behind now. Like, now this is, like, an investment of time that I have to think about.
Now that it's properly developed 4 seasons in, I think streaming, and then you're finally on board enough that you can do the week-to-week thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely, it's on the list to return to.
I hope I remember where I left off with, so I can feel like I could just pick it up, because I don't want
to start over.
I don't want to start over. Start over. That's where
Mike,
I'm like.
I know you say that. I was afraid that too, but honestly, when you can just go episode to episode, it's such a freaking breeze. It feels shorter than Breaking Bad, even though it's longer than it.
Cody says start over too.
Yeah. Anyways,
Mike, I have a gun, and if you don't start over. Oh, that was my drug dealer. I'm kidding.
So now, my show that I've decided to... Yes, it's a show. Mike likes a show. I haven't found a show.
Yeah.
I haven't found a show that I've liked for years.
And it's the Partridge
and it's
Family.
WandaVision.
No, I'm certainly gonna look like a fucking Zoomer fucking talking about how great Euphoria is.
Oh, fuck you, yeah.
Because, listen, I know that it's almost become like a cringy thing to like.
It is now. It is officially a cringy thing.
Because I started liking it, now it's a cringy thing.
Yeah, exactly. The minute you tweeted about
ruined it for everyone.
Yeah. No, but so this show, I heard of like this A24 produced HBO show was starring Zendaya, and I was like, you know what? I've heard a lot of good things. It's 1 season, 8 episodes. I'm like, you know what? Let me start over. Let me start with it. And then I was hooked from the first episode, because like the amount that they dig into this character, like this Zendaya character, she's like this drug addicted teenager who's been in and out of rehab and like working on trying to get clean and like going to high school and stuff. And then she meets this trans girl named Jules, and then they start to develop a relationship, and like a lot of the show like hinges on like their relationship. Then like the season ends with like a big like turning point.
Don't tell us how the season ends.
Well, I mean, in order to like
don't, because
I won't say what happens at all, but
Okay.
like the way that the
gun.
first season ends, it leaves a point where now the second season hasn't come out yet, but like during the pandemic, the HBO has released like 2 standalone episodes, one from Zendaya's perspective and one from Jules, and these episodes are like an hour long of like just 2 characters talking, because you know that's really all you can do when you're filming in a pandemic. But like those 2 episodes, I mean, the second one especially, the one from Jules, is like so deliberate and takes time with like the backstory of the characters and like getting into the emotion and like having the characters just like sit and talk and reflect and deal with their emotions and like their past and stuff, and it's super therapeutic. And especially because like most of the show, like the show is very like kind of fast paced, hypnotic, like a lot of like you know, neon lighting and flashing epileptic visuals and like, you know, banging soundtracks where it's like yeah, a lot of the show feels like very much like a euphoric type of like you're on cloud nine, like it's a constant like you know, rave. And then like these last 2 episodes were like so stripped down and so like methodic and like they like, you know, really like empathetic towards its characters, and then it leads off to a point where I'm like, whenever they do start filming season 2 again, I'm like, I'm really wrapped up in these 2 characters' relationships, and I really want to see the best for both of them.
So they haven't shot season 2. They're still waiting on like COVID to kind of clear out. So
I have a feeling though, because the 2 pandemic episodes came out, like one came out last month and one this month, and I feel like those were the things that they were filming during the pandemic.
Okay.
And then also Zendaya and Sam Levinson, who is the showrunner, also during the pandemic they filmed Malcolm and Marie. So,
right, and now Zendaya is actually doing Spider-Man, so I assume it'd be a while before she can get to... I mean, I assume she's in Spider-Man. I don't remember seeing anything about her being on set.
I mean,
or
can't
anything.
imagine that. I mean, she was in Spider-Man when she was shooting the first Euphoria. I'm sure that she has the scheduling.
No, yeah, I'm just saying it could be a while
Yeah.
before they can get in the studio to shoot another season.
Yeah.
But I hear that a lot. It's funny because like I watch like trash teen dramas. Like I love like garbage, like Riverdale, like that.
Yeah,
kind
because
of
that's what I've said. Like my
Riverdale.
brother who
Yeah, I
watches
was
like
gonna
13
say.
Reasons Why and Riverdale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like these very like these very like shallow, very like stupid teen dramas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the best version of that type of show where it is like, you know, angsty teen drama, but it is like it's about real shit, and like it's a show that is like intelligent enough to like actually sit and tackle the themes that it's going for. It doesn't like, you know, throw suicide in your face and rape out of nowhere like those
that's
shows
good.
do.
Yeah, or murder. There's a lot of murder in Riverdale and like weird witch
There's
stuff.
so much. I read one freaking synopsis of like a random episode of Riverdale, and like 7 people get murdered.
I want to start a Riverdale podcast because I think it's the funniest show. Like it's so stupid. It's probably the stupidest show on television, and I adore it. It never ceases to amaze me how dumb that show gets.
I genuinely hope they get Kiernan Shipka to join it and continue Sabrina on Riverdale.
The only Riverdale things I've ever seen are like those videos where it's like Riverdale being straight cringe for 3 minutes straight compilation.
That's the whole show. I know. That's the entire show. It's all like that. And then like, yes, there's sometimes like slightly less cringy moments, but that's as good as it gets. It's like
I
slightly
was so
less.
hoping Riverdale would be like, if no one's ever read Mark Waid's run on Archie, it's great and it's beautiful and it's modern and hip and cool and funny.
We have signed number ones of that, don't we?
I think you do. I don't think I went to that signing, but and then this show became Twin Hills.
Twin streaks. Yeah. And by streaks, I mean skid marks.
Poop. It's underwear.
Twin poop. More like twin poops. And then I might as well also just throw out Cody's recommendation where he wrote about a manga called Deathtopia. So give that a read.
I added that to like my little I can't talk about it. The illegal site where I read a lot of manga from. I added that to my list today. That sounds really cool. I'm always down for spooky Japanese stuff in any shape or form. Also, check out the test pattern episode I did with them last year, Junji Ito, if you want to hear about my obsession with scary Japanese things. I think I just find the Japanese people scary. I think that's just where I'm at right now. It's more of a
That's really not a great look to put out.
No, not at all. I'm just kidding. Speaking of Japanese people, I am going to be making a video about Godzilla very soon that you can check out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, check out the video that he just made about...
Yes. I watched A Glitch in the Matrix, which is Rodney Asher's new documentary, and over on our YouTube channel, I made a little, like, commentary-style video, different from, like, the podcast format. It's about 15 minutes long. I'm pretty proud of it, and we could really use some more traffic over on YouTube, so if you can go over, check it out, like, subscribe, hear me give, like, I call it not a review, because it's kind of looser than that, but get some impressions on that movie, whether or not you want to spend some money when it comes out, I think, on Friday?
I know it just premiered at Sundance.
Yeah,
so.
But I think it comes out, like, streaming Friday the 5th, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, please go check that out, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Go check out armroulette.com also, where Cody's doing a lot of great shit. Michael, you get to pick the movie we're talking about
my host
next
picks.
week. Yes.
Yeah. To pick.
What is that?
Well, I gotta say that this episode is certainly going to be a very special episode.
Mike, I swear to fucking God.
It's Movie! Oh my God! We're gonna watch Movie! You're just like Larry King! He's in the movie!
I'm going
to 9/11. What movie are we watching?
I knew you were going to. Now it's like, you didn't know what I had planned. Yeah, I'm sorry that I had to do this to you.
I'm sorry. Are we watching B movie?
You're watching the B movie. He's a bee. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I'm a bee. Buzz, buzz.
I'm gonna fucking.
Here's the smoking gun, Your Honor.
Oh God,
why?
Why? Because it's, dude.
Do you own this movie?
No, I don't.
Oh, thank
It's
God.
on Netflix, though, so that's... And you know what? And Jack will be back next episode. We'll get to watch it in person. That's what I was saving this for. I wanted to watch it together as a family.
Oh, God. The thing is going to fucking do to you, too. Oh, when my fucking host pick comes around.
As a hive mentality.
I feel like in this show, host pick has, like, this weird, like, cycle where we do, like, genuine stuff for a while and then eventually it devolves into revenge. Like, it's definitely happened before.
Well, in 10 episodes, I can promise you my host pick will be genuine. But,
oh, God.
Lewis, you're allowed your revenge.
Oh, God.
If a British guy wearing a tuxedo shoots a gun in your next host pick, I'm gonna be...
Yeah, we're quitting the show at that point. Lord Almighty. All right, guys, plugs. Plug it on up.
I am Jack on 35mm on Instagram and Jack Patterson on Letterboxd.
I am RMR Cyborg Mike on Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd. And over on beforethecyborgs.com is where I write reviews. My most recent one is for Promising Young Woman. I haven't gotten to a new one yet, which, by the way, if you haven't watched Promising Young Woman yet, I hope it's somewhere where you can watch it. The Golden Globe nominations just came out. The only good thing they did, it basically swept most of the nominations.
Yeah. It would be so crazy if that wasn't the case.
And also we did a fun thing. The video's not up yet, but we started a little draft. We got a head start on the awards season bet. So there's gonna be a video going up to Patreon that will show what we did for that.
Yes, and so patrons will be able to check out our fantasy league draft. We basically did a sports fantasy league, but for movie awards. So you can get all the details there. That will be up this week.
Yeah, and by the time the actual Oscars comes around in 2 months or whatever, you'll get to see the results of those.
I promise you, I'm gonna have no idea who I picked by the time.
In April. I don't know why they pushed it so far.
That's crazy.
And it sucks that movies from January and February this year are qualifying for the Oscars.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
what am I going to do for my top 10? What if Judas and the Black Messiah is the best movie of the year? I'm is it 2020 now? Can I not put it on my 2021 list at the end of the year next year?
All right, everyone calm down. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Louis J. Otero. Find me on Instagram at RMRoulette Louis. You can find us on YouTube if you just search Random Movie Roulette. We don't have a URL. We don't have enough subscribers. Fix that. Subscribe to us, and we can get a URL, and it'll be easier to find us. You're helping the future generations of RMR listeners by subscribing to us on YouTube. You're making that step that much easier for them, and you should pat yourself on the back for that. That's a beautiful thing. All right. You can go to rmroulette.com. Check out our blog that Cody is running. He is fucking crushing it over there. We do recommendations every single fucking month. Mike hops in occasionally and writes a thing. I have a thing that I'm going to write. I have half of a Glitch in the Matrix review that's probably going to go up at some point. So keep an eye on that. Mike, do you have a specific...
We also have Community for our TV Boys episode coming up soon. We'll be doing the season 2 finale of Community on our TV Boys episode for this week.
Yeah, that'll be going up on Patreon. We'll send the link out in 15 minutes after we log off of here, so keep your eyes on that, patrons. There will also be on demand available for patrons that happen to mix it, but that is a patron exclusive show. TV Boys. So if you want a sneak preview of that, you didn't have a chance yet. We last week uploaded a preview episode where we covered the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. So be sure to go check that out as well. Thank you guys so much for listening to our Krampus episode. We will be back next week, in 2 weeks rather, with B Movie, you piece of human garbage. I'm Larry King. And we'll see you very, very soon.